Hey, how you doing? Welcome to TGTV. So in this short video I'm just going to talk about some of the effects sequence or effects order within a preset and the best place to place the main effects that a lot of people use on these things. So first of all, we're just going to talk about where to place overdrive with an amplifier. Now we've obviously got an amplifier model here with some element of overdrive on there from the actual amp itself. So to add further overdrive on top, you know, a particular pedal, be it an overdrive or a distortion pedal, you want to be placing that in front of the amplifier model, not after the amplifier, because it will just sound awful. So that always wants to be in the front. When you're using something like a wah pedal model, I'm just going to insert one into the chain, and that wants to be always in front of the amplifier, because I don't know why they just sound awful after the amplifier within the chain. So obviously you've got the choice of different models there for the wah. And I'd say if you've got an overdrive in front of the amp as well, I prefer to put the wah at the start of the chain. I'm sure you've seen on people's pedal boards, maybe even including your own pedal board, that you put the wah at the front of the chain, possibly just after the tune or something like that. So that always wants to be at the front of your chain there for the wah for the best sound. And in terms of, say, like a chorus model, now there's no exact law on the way to do this with amplifiers, whether they've got overdrive on them or not. I would say you try both of them, because in front of the amp, you know, it has an equally cool sound. After the amp, it's got a different sound again, but still sounds good. So try both of them. I tend to prefer having the chorus models in front of the amplifier. I just prefer that sound, but it depends on the preset I'm looking for. You know, it depends on that. I'd say if you have the chorus kind of after the amplifier, just think of a kind of an 80s kind of AOR sort of sound, maybe a bit like Steve Lukather of Toto. You know, he tends to have choruses and delays after the amplifier, you know, for that kind of smooth sound, you know, that you're looking for. But it sounds equally good in front of the amplifier as well. So try both and see what you think. Now with delays and reverb, I'd say unless you're using a clean sound, your delay does want to be after the amplifier within the chain. If you've got any element of distortion or overdrive from the amplifier itself, if you put the delay in front of it, it can sound a bit weird, you know, and a bit kind of off, because it kind of it overdrives the delay sound instead of the other way. So you want to be just delaying the main sound after the sound has been produced. If you're using any kind of overdrive or distortion from the amplifier or from a guitar pedal, you know, with distortion or overdrive, you want to have it after that sound, after the drive. Okay, so always have that later. The same thing with reverb as well. If you're using any kind of non-clean sound, you want to have that towards the end of the chain for the best sound. If you're using a clean sound, there's nothing up with having the reverb in front of the amplifier, but even then I would tend to have it after the amplifier. Now with EQ, a bit like with modulation stuff, you know, you may want to have it before or after the amplifier, depending on how much you want to affect the sound and the kind of effect you're having on the sound. I tend to favour EQ towards the end of the chain, or certainly after the amplifier. If you have it in front of the amplifier, you're actually pushing that amended sound into the amp. So you may want to do that, of course, that's fine. You know, if that's what you're looking for, you're shaping the sound before you amplify it, or before you model an amplifier. Before you actually amplify the sound itself, you may want to put the EQ in the front. So try both and see what you think. But more often than not, you're kind of changing the end sound with EQ. You know, you're just sort of tweaking it slightly. Think of studio. You know, you've got your producer or your mixer guy, and they're kind of changing the sound at the end. So more often than not, you tend to have that at the end of the chain. I will do another video with some of the other effects, you know, that are available within the GX-10 to show you where to put those. But with this first video of this, I just want to cover the main sort of effects and sounds that you want to use. I just want to mention at the end as well about other modulations like flanges and phasers. I tend to favour, you know, like an old school MXR style phaser. You just want to have that in front of the amplifier, you know, like Eddie Van Halen, you know, that kind of thing. Same sort of thing with flanges as well. I think with a flanger, it's got more of an in-your-face kind of sound, you know, after the amplifier. It's equally got a bit of an impact in front of the amp, but again, try both and see what you think. You know, have them before or after the amp. Don't forget, with a lot of these modulation effects, you can use the mix there to put how much of the unaffected sound is being used. You've also got the level as well to kind of change the amount of effect that's within the sound itself at the end. So don't forget to play with those, you know, if you've got them either at the front of the amplifier or after. But thank you for listening. Please hit the subscribe button, check out what I do, and there'll be loads more of these GX-10 videos as well as other stuff all the time. And please check out my Boss GX-10 tone shop as well, listed below. Thanks for listening. See you later.